Philadelphia.
They're off to a good start. Doesn't matter. This game is ours as soon as we settle down.
Hello, Steph Curry with back-to-back threes.
Uh-oh. Attention at the buzzer.
Joel says, come at me.
Steph Curry now 11 straight games with 30 or more.
This guy is absolutely ridiculous.
Mike Breen, Doris Burke on the call last night. Absolutely ridiculous might be a little bit of an understatement. He was watching some of those highlights last night and said it looks fake. And sometimes when you look at the box score, it looks fake too. Like somebody photoshopped that box score. How could it possibly say what it does? So Steph Curry on a scoring rampage, unlike anything we've ever seen in his brilliant career and in some metrics, as I mentioned a moment ago, passing the late, great Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan when it comes to 40-point games at the age of 33. Not bad for a guy that some people question his ankles and whether he could stay healthy. All right, Ev, so we laid it down before the break. There's been some great numbers about Steph Curry over the years, amazing numbers, but sometimes you become immune to it. We start taking it for granted because all he does is fill it up. Hit us with some numbers here, and we'll see if Travis, Key, and I are bowled over by these numbers you've been putting together all night long.
All right, so these are all from over the course of the last 11 games, and these are all Stats Incredible brought to you by My Computer Career, training for a better life. So as Zubin said, that's his 50th 40-point game in April, passing Kobe and MJ for most 40-point games in a month by a player age 33 or older. Key, are you impressed?
Yeah, I'm impressed with that. I think when you look at what he's been able to do, despite being the only guy really on the floor that's a major scorer, there is no Klay Thompson, there's no Kevin Durant, and Draymond Green is not the same scoring player that he once was when he added buckets to Golden State. So, yeah, I'm impressed.
Ev, I'm impressed by this, and I'll tell you why. In April, and generally, remember this Warriors team went to 5 straight NBA Finals. They had the number 1 seed locked up on numerous occasions. It would be easy to take some games in April off just to get ready. I mean, we're seeing it all the time. This is called load management before load management, but he sat there. He's played in these games deep in the regular season, showing they mean something. And for those teams that they get there once a year. Back in the old days, when you visit an Eastern Conference team once, you want to see Steph Curry. You want to tell your boys you went to a game and saw Steph. He's playing every game he can. That means something.
Mostly I'm impressed that Key's impressed, but I'm impressed because he's the only guy out there that can score on these Golden State teams. It's not like Klay and KD and anybody else is out there as a real threat. They can run 2-3 guys at him whenever they want, and he's still finding a way to get 40, to get nearly 50 again last night. He's doing it in a way that no one has ever seen anybody score like this before. This isn't Wilt Chamberlain dropping 100 when the next biggest guy in the league was 6'7". This is a normal-sized guy just tearing up the league in a brand new way.
All right, let's go to the next one. And if the guys are not impressed, then they're out of the game. So I think that might be why Key was impressed with that one. Steph Curry last night became the first player in NBA history to average 40 points, 50% field goal percentage, 40% three-point field goal percentage, and 90% from the free throw line over an 11-game span. Impressed or not impressed?
Oh, very impressed. You got to think, man, this is what he does. He's just a pure shooter, best shooter that I've ever seen, in my eyes in the NBA. It's just, I mean, what more can you say? Here's a guy that was passed up major colleges, went to Davidson. Now, all of a sudden, people started to say, okay, can he stay healthy? Oh, well, he's just another one of those smaller guards, and then he catches fire, and the fire is still burning.
I would say it's super impressive just because when we talk about the list of 50, 40, 90 guys, that list is so small. We're talking, obviously, Ev's talking about a span of 11 straight games, which is amazing consistency. But there have been people that have tried to do 50, 40, 90 for a season. And the amount of people that could even be in that category is so small because once you get to the 40% three-point, 95% of the league is out. 90% of the free throws is tough, too. Reggie Miller, Steph, Steve Kerr, and Mark Price are like the only guys that have done it off the top of my head, just thinking in a random fashion. But I just think that 40% from three, even though they're shooting more threes than have ever been shot in this league, making them at a 40% clip is way, way, way harder, even for the best shooters in the world.
very, very impressed because this is a scoring streak that is not just about putting up points with a bunch of shots and just crazy, crazy volume. The numbers that we're talking about, 40, 50, 90, are percentages, right? So he's doing all of these things every single night. This isn't a hot night where he dropped 50 or a hot night where he gets going and drops 60 points. This is doing it incredibly efficiently every single night. Wildly impressed.
This is Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zuman, presented by Progressive Insurance. All of our guests on the Goodyear Hotline. If you've got some thoughts on Curry's greatness, 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. Ev?
Yeah, Steph Curry has 96 points in his last 2 games. That's the most over a 2-game span by a player aged 33 or older since Michael Jordan in 2001 with the Wizards. Key, impressed? Not impressed?
Impressed. I mean, everything that Steph Curry's gonna do, I'm gonna be impressed with. I don't know anything on your list that I'm not gonna be impressed with because clearly he's doing this at a clip that we've never seen before.
Okay, I'm going to take myself out of the game here, only because I'm going to reference something Trav said before. Right now, this team can't score in any other way. So when it comes to volume of shots, Kobe, how many shots did it take him to get 60 in his final game? Everybody only came to see Michael play for the Wizards, for Michael to shoot the ball, and this is the same thing here. Wiseman's on the shelf for the season, no Clay. The team's been banged up the entire season. While it is absolutely remarkable, I think this particular stat, less impressive than the others. I'll see myself out.
I'm going to stay in. I think that I'm still incredibly impressed by all of this. This is a guy that, the numbers are 33 or older since Michael Jordan. This is a season where we've seen guys dropping left and right. This is a season where it's incredibly compressed all over again because of the coronavirus, and he still goes out there and does it every single night, nearly 100 points in back-to-back games. Impressed.
And that's why it's impressive. I know he's taking the shots. I'm going to run everybody at him, defense. I'm going to try to get in his way. I'm going to close in on him. And he's still dropping buckets on everybody's head.
All right, Travis, follow along with this one, all right?
All right.
Steph Curry now has the NBA record for the most three-pointers over a 3-game span, 4-game span, 5-game span, 6-game span, 7-game span, 8-game span, 9-game span, 10-game span, 11-game span.
I want to know what happened in the 2-game span. Why is that the only one that's not on the list? I know that he's going to knock it down.
Is that not a span?
Yeah, maybe the definition of a span is at least 3 games. Yeah, I mean, again, for all of the same reasons, it's impressive again. This is the NBA. Guys get hot. This is the NBA work. Maybe guys get hot for a night or two. Maybe guys get hot for a week. Hot for 11 games in a row from 30 feet away? These aren't three-point shots that are from the corner where he's just sitting there waiting. He's got the ball in his hands all night long. He's running all over the court. He's the only guy that has to take a shot. And for 11 games, he's done this. It's just extraordinary.
Yeah, I'm going to have to bow out on this one because I'm not impressed with him dropping threes because that's what he does. But the dude won a three-point contest, okay? That's just
like so did Craig Hodges. He never did this.
Yeah, but
are you not entertained?
He just he's different. 3-point that's his name. He's the 3-point machine. He drops it on his head no matter what. That's why I said earlier it looks fake. It doesn't even look real. And it's almost like I expect for him to do this every single night. He's going to hit 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 threes. He's not slowing down. I expect for him to continue this type of pace at the 3-point line.
All right, I got one more I want to get to you guys. All 3 of you can jump in on this one. I want to see if you are most impressed by this one of all the ones I've given you. Steph Curry's most career games in the NBA with 10 3-pointers. Steph Curry has 21. Klay Thompson's next with 5. And Steph Curry since last Monday is next with 4.
Wow.
Are you not entertained?
Wow.
I'll be honest. This is the first one where it doesn't just pop out at me because this is Steph invented this, right? Steph invented the idea of taking and making 10 3-point shots in a game. This was, you go back not that far into history, and if a team took 10 3-point shots in a game, that was a lot. And Steph was the guy that kind of brought this. We're going to take a bunch of these. I'm going to make a bunch of these to the league so that he has more of these than anybody else is actually the one that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, if you said to me who holds the record for most threes in a game, I would just assume it was Steph Curry automatically, right? I mean, even before he got on his hot streak, I would just assume Steph Curry maybe Klay Thompson, and that's pretty much it. It would have stopped there, because when you go back into some of the history of the shooters, the Reggie Millers, the Larry Birds, they wasn't taking these type of volume shots at all in games.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing here is sometimes you have to look at it. We always talk about in baseball, what's this guy's WAR going to be? And, we didn't care about on-base percentage until this time, and getting walks wasn't seen as a big deal. In the 80s, guys were stealing 100 bases. Now somebody's stealing 20, and they're close to the league lead. To Key's point, the three-pointer is now, and to Trav's point, the three-pointer is now part of the game like it never was before. So not to take anything away from Steph Curry, but I think Chris Mullin played in college for 3 years with no three-point line. If Chris Mullin had a three-point line at St. John's, suddenly maybe he's got more career points. So as the game has evolved, Steph, in a sense, has met the moment. There's a lot of times where you just have to be the right player at the right time. And in Steph's case, he forced his